Hey, good morning, amigos. How you doing? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great cheeky Friday. We've got a busy one today, so hope you guys are ready. We are going to do our $10 meal. We're going to be making Bubble and Squeak and also some roasted chicken. So you'll be able to check out this recipe on my website tonight. So I'll type it up later on at CHEFJOHNREED.com. But we're going to be doing the potatoes. I'm also going to do a little twist with it, some red cabbage. We've also got some spring onions going in there. We've also got some other little veggies as well, and obviously the mashed potato cooked down. We're going to finish it off as well with a little cheeky egg on top of that roasted lemon chicken we're going to be doing as well. So hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Potatoes. So for the $10 meal for potatoes, I'd probably say 2 large russets would be absolutely fine. So 2 large russet potatoes or 4 small potatoes will be absolutely fine for this. So we're going to give these a little cheeky wash first, and then we're going to peel these down. Right, so let's peel these down. Excuse me. So let's give these a nice little cheeky peel. Also, if you get any like little bruises or anything on there, just kind of peel over them, just to kind of get rid of them. If they're a little bit too deep, then you might want to kind of trim them off. But to be honest with you should be able to peel them. Unless they're rotten, then you just want to kind of maybe get another potato. But as you can see there, just a little bit of bruise in there, so you just take it off. There you go, beautiful potato, good to go. All right, so we're going to cut these down into not too small, but obviously the smaller they are, the quicker it's going to cook. But don't go chopping them into little bits because they'll cook far too quick. So cut them into equal sized portions. If you cut them like one big, one small, what you end up going to do is the small ones will cook really quick, and by the time you've cooked the bigger ones, the small ones will have dissolved into the water, and you'll end up with like a really watery mash. So just make sure they're all pretty much roughly around the same size. I think I might need a bigger pan, so we'll see. Potatoes are ready. I'm going to top this up with some water. I'm going to put these onto a boil. Also going to add about a pinch or 2 of salt as well. Not going too crazy. And I'm going to have a little taste later on. If I need to season a touch more, we can do later on. So, potatoes are boiling. I'm going to start chopping down the veggies, ready for this Bubble and Squeak. So, and if you don't know what Bubble and Squeak is, it's pretty much the best description I can give for you. British dish, obviously with the mashed potato. So it's usually like leftovers from like a roast dinner. So you've got the mashed potato, maybe you've got some parsnips, maybe you've got some cabbage in there. You know, you've got quite a few little veggies. So you fry it all up, and then you just usually serve it with whatever, maybe some cold meat, maybe an egg on top, you know, whichever you prefer. But usually has cabbage in there, onions, whichever. You can really diverse with it quite a lot. We got our onion, 4 garlic cloves. I've got about 2 parsnips here we're going to use. I'm not going to use the whole bag of sprouts, but we've got quite a few in here we're going to use. A little bit of cabbage, spring onions. Also, I need to get some parsley and a little bit of thyme as well. So we're going to chop all that up, and then we're going to cook it off. And then once the potatoes are done, we're going to mix it in the potatoes, get our chicken roasted off, and yeah, so on and so forth. Right, so we're going to slice this up into a nice little... Right, so slice this up very nicely. Watch your fingers. I'm just going to pick a little bit of thyme, and the parsley I'm going to add kind of later on. So I'm going to add the thyme now. I'm just going to pick down the thyme leaves. If you want to dice up the thyme leaves, if they're a little bit too thick for you, you can do that. But honestly, I don't notice the difference. But I suppose if they're a little bit woody or kind of thick, you can dice them down if you want to. I'm going to chop up the spring onions, and then we're going to sweat these down very lightly. Or actually, I could probably start cooking down the onions now while I'm chopping these. So I only want about... I'm just going to go for 3. Also, if you have a little bit of kind of floppy or bad outer leaves, just pull them off. You can just get rid of them. So there's that one there as well. So I'm just going to pull it off. Let's grab my large pan. I'm going to put a tablespoon of vegetable oil in there. And I'm going to start cooking them down very nicely. Okay, so let's chop this up very nicely. So I'm just going to take the end roots off as well because they're looking a little bit shady. What do you mean a bit shady, chef? They're looking a little bit dried out, so I don't want them going into the mix. So just get rid of them. Okay, so let's dice these up very nicely. That pan should be almost hot, so let's dice these up very nicely. Right, okay, so the onions and garlic and the thyme are going in. Just cooking down nicely. Sizzling away. Might need to turn that down just a little touch. Don't want it like too hot. So let's cook them down very, very steadily. I'm just going to take the bottoms off because I don't really want to dice them through. I'm not going to crisscross it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to kind of chiffonade them or chop them down into a nice little thin slice as well. Okay, so we're going to dice these up very nicely. Just into a nice little kind of chiffonade. If you can't dice them up, you could always just put them, maybe chuck them through a blender, I guess, but, you know, they probably end up in little bits rather than sliced, so... but yeah, just take your time if you're doing this. Make sure you got a sharp knife. Take your time, get halfway through, turn it on its side, and then you should be good to go. Right, so the sprouts are going in. Beautiful. So they're going in. They're going to cook down very nicely. So we're going to give them a mix. Just going to chop this down very nice and short. Nothing too long. So that's why I cut it in half. So just to finally slice this down very nicely. Watch your fingers. Be extremely careful. Right, okay, so we're going to add the cabbage to the sprouts, onions, ready to rock and roll. So we're going to cook these down. Beautiful. Cabbage going on there, ready for our bubble and squeak. So that's looking fantastic. Smells beautiful. Ready to rock and roll. Just cut this in half. I'm just going to cut them down into little chips. I guess we could roast them and that, but I'm going to put them into the vegetable mix. So, but you could do that as an option if you wanted. So we just want to soften these up very, very nicely. So good to go. So I'm going to pop this onto the stove. Put it onto a high heat. Just want to boil them down for about 10-15 minutes. And then we should be good. And then we're going to drain them off, add them to the beautiful cabbage mix that we're cooking down. I'm only going to use like half a leek here. I'm not going to go too crazy. Also with the leeks, cut it in half. You see all those beautiful layers in there. Give them a wash. Cold water, reason for it. You want to make sure you wash out all that soil and dirt that's in the layers in there. So just kind of with your finger, I know you can't see it, but like I did in front of you on the camera, just kind of like flick it like a pack of cards. You know, flicking it open so the water runs through and drains off any kind of soil in there. It's your fingers. I'm going to get the potatoes off in a second. So these are going to go straight into the cabbage mix. So what we're going to do with the potatoes, just drain that water off in the colander. I know you can't really see very well, but what I'm going to do, just chuck them straight back into the pan. Right, so while that ring is still nice and hot, what we're going to do is actually put them back on the ring and just give them a nice little cheeky mix. So you're going to really nicely dry them out. You just want to get that excess water out of there so they really kind of start fluffing up really, really nicely. So making sure, don't burn them, but just make sure they dry out really, really nice, because your potatoes come out super smooth and beautiful. Good to go. There we go. Magic. Okay, so a little touch of butter. I'm not going to go too crazy with the butter. Chop up a little bit of butter. I'd say we got about 30 grams here. 30, 35 to 40 possibly. A little dash of milk, not too much. That's fine. Don't add too much. What's going to happen otherwise, you're going to end up with a sloshy mix, and we don't want that. So let's give that a nice little mix up now. Those butters are melting down nicely, so I'm just going to give this a nice little mash. So we've already put it through the ricer, but we're also mashing it down so we can get a nice little smooth mix, but not too smooth. We want it nice and firm. I've got a little touch of pepper. I'm going to use a bit of cracked black, but if you've got a little bit of powdered black pepper, go for that, whatever you prefer. Alright, 2 pinches. I'm not going to go too crazy. We're going to be adding the veggies as well. I haven't seasoned the veggies yet, so that's good. So let me pop these in here. Perfect. So Oh, also, I need to do these parsnips as well in here as well. It's a lot of veggies, isn't it? A lot of cheeky veggies. Now, when it comes to the, not the boiled eggs, the poached eggs, depending on how old your eggs are, obviously if they've just come straight out the chicken, out in the garden, you won't need a lot of vinegar in your pans, so in your water. Now, if it's quite old, I wouldn't say my eggs are like so old, but they are going to need a bit more vinegar than just a little teaspoon. So, obviously, the older the eggs, the more vinegar you're going to need. The fresher the eggs, the less vinegar you're going to need. Alrighty, let's chop this up. And there you go. And if you want, you could probably like, if you want some little chips on the side, you could do parsnip chips, but I'm really going to chuck them in and have the flavour in there as well. And these were super cheap. These cost about just under $4 as well. For about, what, 4 of them? So, let's open this up. Beautiful little chicken thighs. We're going to keep 2 bone in, and we're going to keep 2 bone out. So, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with them now. So, what we're going to do, just going to trim the skins up. These are really nice, big, chunky thighs as well. So, I don't want to take all the skin off, because obviously we're going to very nicely caramelize them. So I'm going to show you how to take the bone out as well. So we're going to do 2 with the bone out. So as you can see there, you see that little one single bone right there under the meat. So what you want to do is just pretty much kind of open it up really nicely with your knife. And then open it up on the other side as well, just very carefully. And you've got this big bone going around as well, so just follow that knuckle around. Just be very careful. So once you get on the other side, what you can do is just pop your knife underneath the bone, and then just go around, and then just kind of trim him up very carefully. Follow around the knuckle. Not losing too much. Careful you don't take that knuckle off, because there's the knuckle right there. So there we go. So there's the knuckle. Is that a little bit more knuckle there? I feel like it might be. So I'm just going to take a little bit more off, so be careful. Also, what's that little ball there? If you actually notice on the back of the chicken, that's actually the most tenderest part. That's the oyster. So they actually took that out, which was great. I'm just going to make sure all this cartilage and bone is out. Once I've seasoned it, and then we're going to sear this off very nicely. Tablespoon of oil. Just a touch of pepper. Also going to get a lemon juice as well. Just a squeeze of lemon juice to finish it off, and I'm going to pop it in the oven to finish up nicely in a pan. This pan's nice and hot, so we're going to add a tablespoon of vegetable oil. Not too crazy, not too much. Whoa! It's plenty. Also going to get 2 separate trays out, because obviously the ones with the bone out are going to take a little bit quicker than the bone in, but they're going to be about roughly the same time, but I'd say 5 minutes more for the bone in, 5 to 10, so we should be good. Right, okay, so that's nice and hot. So I'm going to start frying off these, searing off, sorry, these beautiful chickens. So let me do the boneless first. Wash my hands, season the tops. Right, let's flip these over, because look at that beautiful crispy skin, guys. That's what we're after. Dude, I'm very calm. I'm not actually, I'm not a savage like most chefs. Oh, this is an orange chef, not a lemon, Gordon Bennett. Cheeky chap. Right, so a little bit of lemon juice. Right, in the oven. It's going to take about 20-25 minutes. I'd say these are going to take 20. Those are going to take 25 to 30. So I'm going to put a timer on for about 25. So put this on the medium heat. We're going to add some oil, and then we're not going to add all of this potato and our bubble and squeak mix. Sorry, we're going to add some of it, but we're going to fry it up very, very nicely. Not too much oil. We're going to get the oil nice and hot as well. So about a tablespoon will be fine. It's all bound together really nicely. So what we're going to do. Perfect. Right, so that's going in. Let's fry this off nicely. Okay, we need to flip this bad boy. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to put the eggs in. I'm going to drop them in. So let's get a big spoon. So you're making a nice little swirl pool. Just gently just drop your eggs in. There we go. Perfect. I knew what you meant. Don't worry, buddy. It's all good. This is a very soft, so super careful with it. So there we go. So yeah, I don't want it to fall apart. But there's our little cheeky bubble and squeak. Yep, perfect. Perfect little cheeky eggs. So good. Very nice indeed. So these are cooked perfectly. Just going to baste them a little bit with that lemon juice and the chicken fat left over. Do you reckon 1 or 2 chicken? I feel like 1's going to be enough, guys. 1 chicken thigh. I don't want to go over the top with it. Right, so. Oh, a baby. There is that beautiful cheeky egg ooze. I know you missed a little bit of it, but we got more. We got a little bit more. There you go, chat. There's your egg ooze. Looking beautiful. So we had our homemade bubble and squeak. So we had sprouts in there, onions, garlic, a little touch of thyme, so dried thyme on the recipe. But I had some fresh, so I used that. We also used a little bit of spring onions, red cabbage, and I believe a little touch of leek. We also had... Sorry, we also made the mashed potato, just a touch of butter, a little bit of milk, not too much, mixed together. Then we mixed the vegetable and the potato together. Then we pan-seared the bubble and squeak off. The chicken, very straightforward, boneless or bones. We use the boneless for this. So taking the bone out, dead simple, dead easy. So just pan-seared the chicken breast, finished in the pan, touch of lemon juice, in the oven, 25 to 30 minutes, good to go. And then obviously our little cheeky poached eggs. Swirl pool, bit of vinegar in there depending on how old the eggs are. Crack the eggs, drop them in. Roughly about 4 minutes they're going to take for a medium to large egg. Maybe 5 if it's large. Yeah, fantastic. If they're smaller, maybe 3 to 4. We'll see. But there you go. Something simple, easy, delicious for our $10 meal. So have a great weekend. I'll be back, not tomorrow, Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, ready for... I don't know what I'm making Monday, but you'll find out tonight. So, but anyway, have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Guys, have a safe and great weekend. Bye for now.